COVID-19 pandemic is no myth, but a disease which appears to have activated culture reset. Plausibly, the aforesaid theoretical statement implies that Newton's third law, paradigm shift, culture, and pandemic theories are at work because they intertwine and interphasing, whereby creating a synergy within every cultural space globally. Given the specificity and logistics of this declaration, evidently it also appears that metaphorically and symbolically, global citizens are perceived as conduits or a vehicle whereby such theories are expressed in this conversation. Plausibly, although culture and pandemic can be construed as theoretical constructs, conversely, they do not foster a symbiotic relationship but are antithesis to culture. A case in point, the World Health Organization and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention both advise that to stop the spread of communicable disease, physical contact with others should be avoided, including specifically handshakes. Most public health jurisdictions in the United States and Canada echo this plea in their own public communications. For example, Ottawa Public Health's website advises under the Influenza tab, you can get the flu by shaking hands with someone who has the flu or by touching surfaces that have come into contact with flu droplets. Handshaking practices in Liberia came under assault during the 2014 Ebola outbreak. A recognizable genre of news story targeting the handshake repeats annually in most major news media at the beginning of every flu season. Thus, in pandemic culture, the handshake is an increasingly recognized, scrutinized, restricted, and even prohibited social ritual. Culture is defined as the characteristics and knowledge of a particular group of people, encompassing language, religion, cuisine, social habits, music, and arts. As long as the person lives in a society, community of people, there will always be traditions, cultures, and sometimes heritage depending on the type of group. On the other hand, the construct pandemic invariably affects global citizens to live with fear of getting contaminated. This ethos will create a domino effect. Citizens are going to stop going to shops or restaurants. Consequently, this action will affect the global economies, hence creating a decrease in income for local, regional, and international businesses. Moreover, as this synergy continues interphasing, it has inundated and modified businesses and consumer behavior on a massive scale, not to mention the fact it has also caused the Dow to drop. In other spaces, schools, elder care facilities, churches, and cities are adopting to life disrupted. Primary, secondary, and tertiary education resources are now digital, while employees are now working from home, occupying virtual space. Psychologically, cultural practitioners, including songwriters, musicians, and artists, must now assume the social distancing position, while cultural institutions and venues around the world were forced to close their doors and travel agencies could change for a long time. Further, CARICOM officials agree on COVID-19 protocol, while the intrusion of the outbreak has activated a response fund for the vulnerable. In this scheme of things, social platforms are censored and there are concerns over preferential treatment. However, on the other hand, social platforms also assist in disseminating coronavirus information, while governments issue advisory for social media platforms to curb false news on coronavirus COVID-19. The more that details and facts are fleshed out, evidently coronavirus has changed the world permanently. This nuance has caused research teams to continuously study COVID-19 as it relates to discrimination and profiling. On a positive note, presumably the outbreak of this deadly virus could help agri-exports while agriculture agencies conduct analysis. Overall, through my lens as an author, media arts specialist, licensed cultural practitioner, publisher, CEO, and student of film, metaphorically applying the close-up shot because it is one of my common tools in my visual storytelling and a very powerful mechanism used to underscore the fact that the World Health Organization is a specialized agency of the United Nations responsible for international public health since the 7th of April 1948. And the data regarding this pandemic analyzed suggests that this social scourge is now part of the global culture which has invaded and suspended indefinitely the handshake as a social ritual. What is also uniquely important about this assault on humanity is the pertinent, sobering thought which now pervades the mind of all global citizens: what quarantine could mean for all global citizens. Plausibly, since this action now constitutes how our culture is shaped, is no myth but a disease that caused culture reset.